I want to share with you this really incredible experience I had when it was probably about 20 years ago. One night, it was in the middle of the night. It was a dream, but it was a awake dream because I still remember it to this day. It was really powerful, kind of like that the footprint story where you look back over your life and you see where Jesus has been. And this was a story where Jesus showed me where he'd been over his footprints in my life. But also he showed me something else which was kind of like blew me away. So he took me back to the very beginning of my life when I was around the time I was born. I was a premature baby. My mother was unwell. I was premature, but I was also very underweight, and they didn't really know if I'd live or not because I was so little. And many of the babies around me had died who were bigger, but I survived. And what Jesus showed me was that my life was in his hands because there was an attack of the enemy of premature death on my life, and it just like really hit me. I thought, oh my gosh, yes, Jesus was there, but there was something evil as well that was against me, and it was really quite shocking. And then he says, look, I'm going to take you over your life and I'll take you to another place. And he took me to a moment 20 years later, in my early 20s, where Steve and I were on our honeymoon. We were in Fiji, in a tropical island, and we were in a rental car, and we had an accident. The car in front of us, we crashed into. There was an incident with them, and so we had to stop suddenly. And Steve was driving. He stopped in time, but there was a load on the back of the vehicle that was some wood, a whole lot of planks, and we stopped, but the planks kept coming and through the windscreen into where my face was, and literally was within, centimetres of my face, and could have died. I absolutely could have died. But even half an hour or so before that, I had a sense to really pray for protection. It was like a Holy Spirit prompting or premonition, really. And Jesus showed me I was there, and there was the enemy had attack of premature death on your life there as well. It's like, oh my gosh, whew. And then I was reminded then of 20 years later, which actually wasn't long after I had that dream. It was about 4 or so years after I had this awake dream. I had some major surgery, but routine surgery, and every surgery has risks, which the doctors and the anaesthetists tell you all about them, and you read through the list. And I ended up having one of those risks or complications of surgery where a clot from my wound in my abdomen travelled to my lungs, and often there's not many symptoms to that until it's too late. And I kind of had a premonition or a sense of impending doom. Something wasn't right, and I, as a nurse, sort of was ticking away in my brain. I think I've got a clot in my lung, a pulmonary embolism. So I said to my mum, hey, we need to go to ED. This is what I think I've got. I did, even though I didn't have many symptoms at that time. And Jesus showed me that it was another attack of premature death of the enemy against your life. And I thought, whoa, I knew medically that it could have been so different, and it was a miracle that I picked it up so soon, really, and got treatment really quickly. And it really Jesus showed me how close he'd been to me, and he was my victor. And then fast forward another 5 years after that, when Jesus showed me how he'd been in my life at those times, I had a prophetic word at the end of Shout Conference. Pastor Pat Sparrow, he prophesied a number of things, and at the end of the prophetic word he said, and I just see you having long life. And it was really significant because he didn't know the attacks that the enemy had on my life. So to speak that word from God, you will have long life, it was a promise to me. So it was just God's encouragement. I've got you. So I want you to be encouraged by my story, to know that your life is in the hands of God, and Jesus is your victor.